the first best practice there is actually what you said, is you need to actually do an assessment and do some planning, right? It is not as simple as saying, well, we're going to buy Snowflake and we're going to migrate to Snowflake, right? Yeah, the contracts aren't even that easy, right? You got to get through the contract planning, but you have to do an assessment. You have to understand your current state, but you have to, as importantly, more importantly, understand your desired future state. You know, what problems are you trying to solve? I mean, in addition to, okay, maybe you're one of these SMBs and you want to get rid of your leases on your data centers, okay? And so there's some monetary incentive there, and we want to move to the cloud, and we want to change our staffing so that it's more remote and all that sort of thing. But really, other than that, why are you doing this? You know, are there business problems that you need to solve that you can't solve today? You know, and get an idea of what those are, and you need to prioritize them, because one of the things that Bill Inman said in the very early days of data warehousing is don't do a big bang. And probably one of the major errors people make, and where that wasted money is going, is this attempt to do a full lift and shift of a massive on-premise infrastructure and tools and everything, and we're just gonna port it to the cloud, and how hard could that be, right? Well, as both Jay and Cohen have said, I mean, they're using old tools, and some of the old tools don't work well in the cloud, right? And so they may have to redo some of that as well. And so you need to do it incrementally, is kind of the key here. Is you got to plan it out based on priorities, your incremental approach to moving to the cloud, and that's going to increase your success. And of course, from an organizational perspective, your organizational has to be aligned to this particular approach and to this project. You know, the funding needs to be in place, all of that, before you start trying to do things.
So before the webinar started, we were having a little discussion, and there was actually a very good point to say, okay, some software vendor, and I'm going to say its name, and they say, okay, we're going to just lift and shift everything to the cloud. And then they realize, oh, the cloud version of this product, it doesn't support everything that we were doing on-prem. So that is just, if you rush in and you don't do a very good assessment of what are we going to do in the cloud and what are we currently doing, and if it doesn't match, then you're going to have problems, of course. So that is one of the issues. So I did a little bit of preparation, so I have a little notes. And one of the first things that I wrote down is like implement billing alerts. Because people just start with the cloud, you just start creating assets, and they're turning on services, and then they say, oh, okay, this doesn't work for us, so we're not going to use it anymore. But if you don't turn it down, it keeps costing you money, and then at the end of the month, you get a huge bill. So the first thing you ever do if you move to the cloud is learn how to implement billing alerts. So normally every product, every service has it. And then just say, you get a little warning, say, oh, you already spent this amount of money. And then they say, oh, we need to take action. So the first thing you do is implement billing alerts. And then I think one of the biggest advantages of the cloud is how easy it is to just test something out. So if you say, okay, we're kind of interested in using this service, do the assessment, okay, do we think this service is good for you? And then actually just try it out. So it's not like in the old days, so, oh, we're going to buy a server. So you do a whole assessment. Oh, we think we need this much CPU, this much RAM. Then you order the server, then you wait 3 months, and it gets delivered. Install all of the software. You do a very expensive proof of concept, and say, oh, it was not for us. Well, that was time and money wasted. In the cloud, it's not the case. You just start the service, say, okay, we're going to use Snowflake or Databricks or whatever. You spin it up, test it out for a couple of days, see how does the team that has to work with it, how do they like it, can they find their way easily and stuff like that. And then if you don't, it's not for us, then you can just easily tear it down. So it's how do you say it at Google? So you can fail fast and fail often, or something like that, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. So I think that is one of the biggest advantages of the cloud. So you can easily try something new, and if it doesn't work out, you just shut it down and just move on to the next. So I think, so implement billing alerts, just try stuff out. to make sure that it works, and if it actually delivers what you're expecting of it. And also, the one thing that I immediately note down was don't do big bang migrations, just like I mentioned. Like, oh, don't do it. Don't try to do everything at once. Just do like little baby steps. Like maybe the first thing you can do is move to Azure Active Directory or whatever authentication provider to the cloud, because that's usually key. So it's the glue that holds all those services together. Then maybe move your mail server, something like that. And then when all that has been working, and then people are starting getting used to the idea of working in the cloud, you can do the bigger stuff. So just do an incremental step. I think that's very, very important.